Hi, my name is Harry Campbell. I'm here from Biofeedback Resources International. We are a company that provides training in biofeedback and neurofeedback and also equipment. In this video, I'm going to talk about how we can use biofeedback equipment for monitoring reactions. Um, Biofeedback is used as a clinical tool, but it can also be used in other ways. And so that's what we're going to talk about here. So this would be considered a non-therapeutic application of biofeedback in some cases, although biofeedback instruments are most often used as a teaching therapeutic tool, they can also be used to identify or give evidence of reactions. So we're going to talk about some of the things that can be measured with biofeedback and some of the reactions we might see. So skin conductance is one modality of biofeedback, and that can be used to indicate a startle response. So if someone hears a loud noise, they see a flash of light, somebody screams, anything like that, the nervous system would respond in what we call a startle response. And so one of the things that happens is you would get additional sweat on your skin. And we put sensors on the fingers that would measure that. And so you can see an example here. Let me just mark this, where the person was just sitting quietly relaxing and the amount of sweat on their hands was going down. Then they reacted to something. Here you can see it goes up. It starts to go down again. Here you can see it goes up again. Then starts to go down. Here it goes up again. Starts to go down, goes up again. Starts to go down, and so on. In this one, you have just a single response. It goes up, and then it comes back down again. So this would be what we call recovery. You can see it come down. So if you want to measure the response, the startle response in someone, you could use skin conductance biofeedback to do that. Another thing that can be measured is skin temperature. So we can look at the relaxation response. And with the relaxation response, when someone relaxes, the blood vessels in their fingers and their toes also would start to dilate. The blood vessels open up. More blood gets through, hands get warmer. And so in this example, you're seeing temperature dropping, and then the temperature starts to increase here. So that would be a example of a relaxation response. We could also see the reverse of that. If a person's hands were warmer and they become stressed, you would see the temperature drop in that case. So that's another type of response you could see using biofeedback instruments. Here's another one. This is for muscle tension. And so that could be a sign of anger. Usually, when a person becomes angry, they will tense their muscles in some way. And this is just an example. A person might show a lot of tension in their face muscles, in their forehead, in their jaw, and so on, in their shoulders, in their hands. And so, if we use sensors to measure their muscle activity, we can see that recorded. So this is an example of muscle activity being recorded with someone who had a lot of tension in their jaw and their forehead. And the levels you can see were well over 20 microvolts in many cases. A relaxed level of muscle activity would be about 3 microvolts or lower. And so you could see this would be a indication of anger response in this case. Another measure that we have is heart rate variability. And in heart rate variability, we are seeing changes in the heart rate varying here. In this case, a lot of this is brought on by slow-paced breathing. You can see that this green line is a breathing signal. So the person is inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, and you can see the heart rate responding to that. Okay, so heart rate variability is another thing that can change, showing a reaction. So in this case, a positive emotional response might look like the low frequency of the heart rate variability increasing. And that's something that can be measured with a sensor that goes on the finger or the earlobe, or you can use EKG sensors that would go on the wrists or on the torso of the body, depending on the setting. And then here we have EEG, and that's another thing that can indicate changes in state. So here we can show EEG slow waves increase during drowsiness. Okay, so you have slow waves would be considered like your theta and your delta. And if a person becomes drowsy, you would tend to see more of those slow waves. It happens to be a recording from someone who has a disorder that is showing a lot of slow wave activity. So with drowsiness, it wouldn't look quite like this, but you would see more of the slow wave activity, especially in certain areas as a person became drowsy. So how would we use this? We can look at how the physiology changes before, during, or after an intervention or a task, and we use the instruments to measure it. So we have a sensor. Depending on what we're measuring, a sensor might go to the head, it might go to the hands, to the abdomen, to the arms, to the back, anywhere the signal is being measured from. And we would just measure the physiology. And what we might do is set up a experiment or a condition where we have a baseline where we're just measuring without a task happening. Then we would do a marker usually to indicate when the baseline period is over with no task. Then we would have the task or the intervention. By intervention, I mean, let's say if we were doing a relaxation exercise, or we were doing EMDR or some other intervention that should have a certain outcome or effect. And then we can do a post baseline. We do another marker, and then we do our post baseline to see what the physiology is showing after the task or intervention is over. So biofeedback instruments are an excellent tool for measuring reactions during talk therapy, to quantify the effects of other therapies or techniques, or in research. I'm thinking of a research project that I helped a university with that wanted to see the effects on physiology of someone watching a video that was stressful. So they had a baseline period, then they did a marker, they showed the person the stressful video. Of course, they were continuing to measure, they did another marker, and then they had a period where they were either showing the person a relaxing video or just a neutral video, and continued to measure. And they were, in that situation, I believe they were measuring skin conductance and heart rate activity. And so they were able to show the changes that happened as a result of the stressor and the period afterwards. So that's just an example of one experiment. There are many other types of experiments you could do with this. But I just wanted to give you a brief introduction to how biofeedback instruments can be used to measure reactions. So if you do have any questions, please contact me at my office, 877-669-6463. or 914-762-4646 are the phone numbers. You can also visit our website, biofeedbackinternational.com, And this will show the phone numbers, my email address, and of course our web address. And if you're interested, you might pick up a copy of the book that I wrote, What Stress Can Do, and that talks about some of the effects that stress has on us and the importance of doing something about it. So thanks for your time. And again, if you have any questions, comments, or want to talk more about this, feel free to contact me. Thank you.